morning once again. I believe you are doing great. You are taking your studies seriously. I want to say here that some of us are not doing well because I've not been receiving your assignment from those of us in Berry School. So please, try to do assignment. Tell daddy and mommy to submit the assignment on your behalf. Bring it to school, let it be brought to school, to be marked and the books sent back to you. Thank you. Alright, today we are looking at another subject, and the subject is social studies. The topic we are going to look at today is religious intolerance. What is our topic? Religious intolerance. Are you getting it? Let's say it together. Religious intolerance. Remember, in our last lesson, we talked about religion. We have looked at the three main religions in Nigeria and their practices. So today we want to look at what is religious intolerance. Alright, for an instant, if I am a Muslim, then I desire or I want everybody to belong to my religious group. And as a result of that, if I have a friend from another religion and maybe I have talked to him or her and she does not really want to join me in my religion, if I start developing hatred toward her, that person, because of refusing to join my religious group, that can be termed as religious intolerance. So religious intolerance is defined as inability to accept that others have rights to practice their own religion. Do you get that? Religious intolerance can be defined as inability to accept that others have rights to practice their own religion. That's what we have as definitions of religious intolerance. Now, what are the ways people exhibit or display religious intolerance? There are various ways in which people display this religious intolerance. For example, I am into education and maybe I establish a school. Then, because of my religious faith, I refuse to accept people from other religious faith. What I'm doing is religious intolerance. I am a director in an establishment, and because other people are not from my religious group, and I refuse to employ men into my establishment, that's religious intolerance. I get angry about over religious practices as performed by other people. As a result of that, I may decide to burn their place of worship. As a result of that, I may decide to go on riots against them. That is religious intolerance. And I want to say that it is more common practice here in this part of the world. We hear of the burning of and destructions of worship centers here and there. Why? Because we are unable to accept that others have right to practice their own religion. Remember, in our last lesson, there are many religions. So if someone does not want to belong to our own religious group, it shouldn't be a problem. That's what we are going to look at today. Remember, we have looked at the meaning of religious intolerance, and I've just stated few instances or ways in which people display religious intolerance. Another way of showing religious intolerance is hatred. When you have that hatred against a particular religious group, that's religious intolerance. Then what are the causes of this religious intolerance? Number one is ignorance. What do I say? Number one is what? Ignorance. Number two is selfishness. Then three, we can look at it as wrong counsel from our religious leaders. Now, number four, we look at it as ethnicity. Maybe in our ethnic group, majority of the people there belong to a particular religion, and so we want everybody in that particular community or settlement to practice that very religion. That's another reason, or one of the causes of religious intolerance. Causes of religious intolerance are selfishness, ethnicity, ignorance, wrong counsel from religious leaders. How do they counsel their followers? Some can go ahead and make promises that look so rewardable, and this may encourage the young people to go into actions that are not supposed to be done into. They will just go into such actions and carry out thinking that they are doing the right thing, but because they were wrongly counseled, this may lead to what? Religious conflict or riot, as the case may be. And anyone, please remember, anyone who does this is termed as religious fanatic. Who is a religious fanatic? Religious fanatic is someone that holds strongly to his or her what? Religious faith, and may want to do anything to defend that faith, irrespective of his or her position. Such a person is termed as religious fanatic. Alright, let's write a little. Alright, friends. Here we have the definitions of religious intolerance, how it occurs, and a person who does this, we have said that is called a religious fanatic. Now, one thing we need to know about the religious fanatic is that he or she thinks that his or her religion is superior, while other people religions see other people religions as inferior. Now, these are the ways different ways people exhibit religious intolerance. We have said burning and destroying places of worship, refusing to build places of worship in certain places. There are places that some religions are not to be practiced there, and as such they cannot build their place of worship there. Then number 3, I have said that not employing people of certain faith in some establishments. Now another one is refusing people of certain faith to attend some schools. Yes, it is obvious, it happens even in our country. There are some schools that certain people are not allowed, people of certain faith are not allowed to attend those schools. Now here we have killing people of other faith because of their religion. Maybe they refuse to join us and we can't stand and seeing them practice their own religious group, so we have to take their life. Now look at causes: ignorance, selfishness, ethnicity. Then another one is that we have talked about poverty. Poverty is another cause of religious intolerance, and wrong counsel. Take notes. Wrong counsel. From some religious leaders. How do they do this? Encouraging their followers to defend their faith, do anything to defend their faith, that they will get their support should anything happen. That is a major cause of religious intolerance. Now, what are the effects? We have seen the causes. What are the effects of religious intolerance? Now, let me ask my children, what do you think will happen? What will happen to people in a community should there be a religious crisis as a result of religious intolerance? Let me ask you, will there be peace in that environment? Will people in that community go about with their normal activities? The answer is what? No. Wherever there is what? An issue of religious intolerance that leads to religious conflict or crisis, sometimes people lost their life. True or false? True. Can hear you say true. So people can lose their lives, loss of properties. What about economic reduction? There will be reduction in economic activities, because whenever there is riot or the environment is not peaceful, people will hardly go out for their normal duties or activities. So this will definitely make our economic activities to do what? To be reduced. Another one is what? Wasteful spending. After the crisis, people lost their life, properties. Many people will be displaced. Then what happens to those people that are displaced? And that's when we hear that the government is spending so amount of money to take care of people that have been displaced as a result of one religious crisis or the other. So these are the effects or dangers, we call it problems of religious intolerance. We have talked about, if I ask you, mention effects of religious intolerance. One, loss of lives, loss of properties, economic reduction. There will be a reduction in economic activities. Another one will be what? Wasteful spending, hatred, unfriendly relations. These are some of the effects of religious intolerance. All right, let's write a little again. All right, my beloved friends, here are some of the effects of religious intolerance. We are talking about loss of lives, loss of properties, unfriendly relations, public disturbance, riots, economic reduction. Economic reduction can religious intolerance can also lead to the breakdown of law and order. When we kill other people, we are taking laws into our hands. Then wasteful spending. We have looked at that already. All right, before we call it a day, we want to take few assignments which will help us to really understand the lesson very well. All right, just take that few assignments before we go. All right, my learners at home. Here are the questions for the assignment. Number 1 says, define religious intolerance. Give us the definitions of religious intolerance. Who is a religious fanatic? That's number 2. Number 3 says, state 2 ways religious intolerance is displayed. What are the ways religious intolerance are displayed? All right, number 4, mention 4 causes of religious intolerance. All right, number 4, I have said that mention 4 causes of religious intolerance. We have about 5 of it, just mention 4. All right, friends, with this, we've come to the end of our today's lesson, and it has been an interesting moment. I want to say, stay positive and stay out of trouble out there. Till I come again next lesson day. I am Mrs. Bassey. Bye for now.